one. It's one. A lot more to come. Shout out our fans. Absolutely incredible. Thank you guys for showing up, showing love to all my teammates. We appreciate you. More to come.
Make this rivalry come back, this manufactured rivalry, which, by the way, you guys, the Indiana Fever beat the Sky by nearly 40 points. They won 93-58.
Indiana Fever destroy, obliterate, run out of the gym the Chicago Sky.
Instant panic just hit Chicago Sky as their so-called star, Angel Reese, humiliated the entire team. Not with her skills, but with zero contribution and a whole lot of F-bombs aimed at Caitlin Clark's fans.
And Caitlin Clark handled her business game 1. 20, 10, and 10.
The girl has mastered shoulder checks and trash talk, but when it comes to actual basketball, she vanishes faster than her podcast listeners. Now her own coach is reportedly considering benching her, not for injuries, but because she brings more drama than points.
Great for sport. Like, I understand that. I grew up loving rivalries. Like, I grew up in Iowa. Iowa State, that's like a pro matchup in the state of Iowa. Like, I understand that. Or whether it was my high school team, like, I still hate our rival high school, Valley High School. Sorry, I'm sure there's a lot of people from Valley High School that...
And let me tell you that it all started even before the game. The heat was already building.
Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're getting...
Next question.
A Chicago Sky reporter asked Angel Reese if she still believed people were watching women's basketball because of her. And without even letting the question finish, she cut it off with 2 words. Next question. That was her entire response.
Too much Caitlin Clark on. Nope, every game. More Caitlin Clark all the time, always. Caitlin Clark is easily the most influential athlete in a team sport.
That moment told everyone exactly what they needed to know. She brushed off the accountability, dismissed the question like it was beneath her, and pretended the Caitlin Clark conversation didn't exist. But the real answer came just a few hours later, on the court. When Reese didn't just avoid the question, she completely disappeared from relevance.
10 and 10. 20, 10, and 10. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, what did the kids say? Belt to ass? Oh yeah.
While Caitlin Clark made history with the first triple-double in a WNBA season opener, 20 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. Angel Reese wandered through 35 minutes of basketball, looking like the most overhyped signing in Chicago's roster. Sure, she grabbed 17 rebounds, but she also missed back-to-back layups and couldn't score to save her life. Her performance wasn't dominance, it was damage control.
And let's be honest, from that moment on, Angel Reese disappeared. Her impact on the game, gone. Caitlin, she was in her zone. It's like Clark didn't just eat the foul, she took over the moment, mentally and physically. So now the big question is, was that fire from Reese real or just for show?
She entered the game trying to play the mentally tough alpha, hyped up like she was ready for war, but by the second half, it was clear she wasn't leading anything. Her body language said it all, pulling at her jersey, shouting, looking lost every time the camera cut to her. The whole next question attitude aged like spoiled milk. The second Caitlin Clark turned the game into her own highlight reel.
Now, if we say her stats are today, what?
20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
And this wasn't just a bad night for Reese. It was a full collapse of the narrative the WNBA has been trying to sell for the last year. That Angel Reese was the co-face of the league. That press conference clip wasn't a power move. It was the funeral bell for the Reese versus Clark PR fantasy. Because one of them made history, and the other became a meme.
It feels like it's gone by fast, yeah. Which I didn't know going into the offseason of how exactly it would feel. I feel like just yesterday it was January and I was itching for like this first game. I was like thinking about this moment, and I mean, you think it will take a long time to get there, but it doesn't. If you just, stay consistent in what you do and follow your routines and, you stay busy, it comes pretty fast, but yeah.
While Clark was draining logo threes, orchestrating the offense, and turning defense into transition magic, Reese and the Sky were getting torn apart in every direction. It wasn't close. It wasn't competitive. It was a 35-point public shaming on national TV. And the panic? It started the moment the numbers came in. Clark had already pulled 1.3 million viewers for a preseason game, more than the WNBA Finals. And not one of those people paid to see Angel Reese miss uncontested shots in the paint. They came for Caitlin. They always do. Because the reality is, this league doesn't run on who talks the most. It runs on who performs. And Clark doesn't just perform, she rewrites the rules.
The biggest news for the next 3 months. So let's talk about Caitlin Clark's hard foul on Angel.
Meanwhile, the league itself is still scrambling. Last year, they tried to downplay her impact, like her fan base was a glitch in the system. Now they're moving games to NBA arenas just to keep up with ticket demand. They tried to resist the Caitlin Clark effect, and now they're playing catch-up like Reese chasing a fast break she was never going to block.
Man, this just went down. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese going at it. More so, Angel Reese going at Caitlin Clark.
Veterans were offended that Clark was the face. Too much media, too many cameras, too much airtime. But guess what? The fans weren't offended. They were in line, buying tickets, buying jerseys, and filling every seat in the building. Because when someone breaks NCAA records, sells out every arena they walk into, and still gets elbow-checked every game by jealous defenders, that's not a controversy. That's a threat. And everyone knows it.
My goodness gracious. Destroyed the sky in front of a sold-out 17+ thousand. Fouled Angel Reese. Angel Reese loses her mind, tries to fight Caitlin Clark.
The narrative was never about balance. It was about denial. Reese was hyped up to be the rival, but Clark never needed one. She didn't waste time talking. She just shut up, showed up, and buried every fake comparison in a pile of points, assists, and rebounds. And Reese? She couldn't even answer a question. And when it mattered most, she didn't. On the mic or on the court.
It's glorious. The season is back. It is on. A triple-double in the first game back.
Now let's talk about the game here that is making headlines. So from the opening whistle, it was obvious they were running with a clear Rattle Clark strategy. And by strategy, we mean trying to physically harass the league's most talked-about player like it was 1990s street ball. Set hard screens, foul her off ball, shove her in transition. It was all part of the plan. The problem? Caitlin Clark isn't just built for this kind of pressure. She feeds on it. What was supposed to be intimidation turned into her highlight reel.
Commits a hard foul on Angel Reese. She falls to the ground. After that, Angel Reese gets up. She's feeling super spicy. She's charging at Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is walking away. Aaliyah Boston steps in and kind of stops Angel Reese. Courtney Vandersloot also.
The turning point came late in the third quarter. Caitlin Clark saw Angel Reese about to score off an offensive rebound and a wide-open layup in the making. Clark, as any smart guard would do, made a textbook foul and wrapped Reese across the shoulders to stop the basket. Not a shove, not a swing, not a flagrant elbow to the face. A clean, tactical foul. The kind of thing every WNBA defender has done 1,000 times. Initially ruled a common foul, the referees huddled, stared at the monitor like it was the Zapruder film, and somehow came back with a flagrant one call. This is the part where things went off the rails.
Nasty. Back-to-back quarters with 13 points. Couldn't even get a quarter over 18 points. Oh, Chicago Sky, I had you overrated.
Angel Reese, who'd been quiet most of the night in terms of impact, suddenly flipped into full performance mode. Screaming, storming across the court, yanking at her jersey like she was in a WWE promo. You'd think Clark threw a punch the way Reese reacted. But again, the scoreboard told a different story. This wasn't the comeback of a warrior. It was the meltdown of someone who had no answers on the court, so she tried to win the crowd instead. All of it played out in front of 17,000 fans who didn't come for drama. They came to watch Clark bury threes. And that's exactly what she did next.
Oh, how I overestimated what I would see from the Chicago Sky. The Indiana Fever took care of business.
Right after the flagrant, Clark walks up the floor and buries a cold-blooded three. No flex, no stare down, no trash talk. Just a stone-cold shooter doing her job. That's what makes the Sky's whole approach so pathetic. They thought rattling Clark would throw her off. Instead, they just handed her the script. While Reese was stomping around like a Marvel villain giving her origin speech, Clark turned her getting fouled moment into an exclamation mark. And let's talk about team dynamics here. The second Reese tried to charge Clark, Aaliyah Boston stepped in immediately. Shoved her right back, got a technical foul for it. Didn't care. That's not chaos, that's cohesion. That's a team that knows exactly who they're riding with, and doesn't flinch when one of their own gets targeted. It's the kind of backup you see on championship squads. No hesitation, just protection.
And we have one goal. Did we play our best game today? I would say we didn't. The fact that we didn't play our best game and we still destroyed.
And all this is happening while Clark is busy putting together one of the most historic stat lines ever seen in a WNBA season opener. She finished the game with 20 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 2 steals. That's not just filling a stat sheet. That's dismantling an entire team. And she did it all while being the target of a full-on contact campaign. This wasn't finesse. This was grit with numbers to prove it.
Really watch the replay. Something feels off. Angel came charging in like she wanted smoke, like she was ready to throw down. But here's the thing. If she really wanted to confront Caitlin, what was stopping her? Nothing. That reaction, the body language, it felt forced. Like she was putting on a performance. Fake tough, fake angry.
Meanwhile, let's go back to Angel Reese. Because yes, 17 rebounds looks impressive. Until you realize she had no scoring impact, missed back-to-back layups, and basically padded her stats by grabbing her own missed shots like a kid chasing the ball in a driveway. She went 5 of 14 from the field, and that includes 2 point-blank shots she couldn't convert, both of which got clowned online before the final buzzer even sounded. That's not physical dominance.
Gotta feel good about that. No Sophie Cunningham in the lineup. Arguably the first person coming off the bench for us. Not arguably, most likely the first person coming off the bench for us. No Sophie Cunningham. And we destroyed the Chicago Sky.
Even Camila Cardoso, the 6'7" powerhouse the Sky were hyping up, got reduced to background noise. She managed just 4 points on 2 of 9 shooting, neutralized entirely by Boston, who owned the paint like it was her private property. No matter who the Sky put in the post, they were either blocked, bodied, or bullied.
Let's look at these box scores really quick. So Aaliyah Boston, 19 points, 13 rebounds. DB, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. So DeWanna Bonner also just moved up to number.
As a team, let's just say the Sky might want to burn the game tape. They shot 29.1% from the field and 22.2% from beyond the arc. That's not just bad. That's historically ugly. No rhythm, no structure, just broken plays, missed shots, and a lot of yelling. More bricks than a construction site and no blueprint in sight. And yet somehow they thought the problem was Clark playing too tough?
I was so happy that she got that moment. She hit 2 clutch free throws. Now she is number 3. That's such a huge accomplishment, and I'm glad that DB is getting her flowers.
The irony in all of this is that the Sky came in with the energy of enforcers. Like they were going to set the tone, push Clark around, and make her question whether she belonged. Instead, they walked out with their reputations bruised, their egos shattered, and 93-58 slapped across every headline. You can't claim to be the villains if you're the ones who get embarrassed. You can't act like you're taking over when you never even had control. And the worst part? This isn't even Clark's final form. This was Game 1. A 35-point warning shot. If the Sky thought flagrant fouls and fake toughness were enough to silence her, they just learned the hard way. She's not built like the rest of them. She doesn't break. She builds. And every foul, every shove, every meltdown just gives her another highlight to add to the reel. If that's what Angel Reese calls a rivalry, then what do you call a 35-point blowout? Let me know what you think.